Hello everyone, thank you for coming back to TRT, The Real Talk, a place where we have conversations about everything that pertains reality. So today we are going to continue our conversation from last week. If you missed it, please go back, watch the episode for last week. It was epic. We were talking about the 3 F's that every relationship, every marriage, every dating couple, the 3 F's, the 3 discussions or the 3 conversations you need to have in a relationship. And today we are continuing with that relationship conversation, the marriage conversation, and I'm very honored to be hosting this episode with my friend, my childhood buddy, my mentor, my buddy called Patricia Agaruchide. Tell us more about yourself.
Thank you very much, Dorcus. I'm very happy to be here on The Real Talk, and I welcome everybody who is watching us today. More about myself, I'm Patricia Agaruchide Mulumba, a teacher by profession, a life coach, an author, and basically, to sum it all, I am a go-getter.
Yes, she's a go-getter. You've heard that. When she wants it, she goes for it. The feedback I got from you last week was that I just touched the tip of the iceberg. We talked about family, we talked about faith, why these are important in any relationship. When you're dating, why is it important to discuss faith, to discuss family? And then under family, we talked about the S word. If you can guess it, yes, we are talking about sex. So today, we want to speak about sex in details. How do you have that conversation in a relationship, in a marriage regarding sex? And we are going to have Patricia start us off on that conversation.
Wow. As the lover of love, one that is born to inspire before I expire, me to tell you about sex, the sex factor, the sex talk in every relationship. Sex, as we all know, is a beautiful thing. Sex is one of the creations of God that is so powerful, that is so intimate, that is so important in a relationship, especially a relationship that leads to marriage, a relationship of marriage where God is at the center. Sex is very important because you know that with sex in your relationship, in your marriage, you are you're definitely going to procreate. And that is something that God gave to us, gave to humanity. It is a gift. And that is why it is important for us to have this act at the right time with the right person. And in this case, the right person we're talking about is your husband or your wife. We're not talking about this boyfriend that you're dating. We're not talking about this boyfriend you have at school. We're not talking about
the person you met in a bus,
the person you saw online, and then in your next meeting you think sex is going to be something
talking
you have
about
to do.
next meeting. There are some people who actually have sex on the first meeting. They call it sex on site. I don't know. Sex on site.
Sex on site because of the love at first sight. But here we want to understand what really is meant by having sex with somebody. I just want to share with you something my father used to say when I was growing up. I really like quoting my father because he was the closest person I had.
Regards, Papa K.
Papa K,
Yeah.
my dad. He always said that sex is a spiritual thing, and many people don't understand that. So Dad always wanted to make it vivid for us, and he used to say, if you have sex with somebody, then the spirit world is on board, and then because of the exchange of fluids and in some cases the blood, especially at the very first encounter, there's that union that comes in, and he would draw pictures for us to show, and the closest I can explain is the picture that has gone round, especially when they're talking about cross-generational sex. But when you have sex with multiple partners, probably you start as a teenager with some boyfriends in school, and then you get this boyfriend at the university, and then you get this guy, who gives you the money that you used to buy this boyfriend gifts, and then, every person you have sex with is connected to you, whether you want it or not, because of that spiritual element. At that moment, during the encounter, there's a lot of exchange that takes place, and that is why God would want us to have sex with that one person.
And that's why they say that when you have sex, you find that if I've had sex with 20 people, at every stage someone leaves a mark. So if I sleep, I shouldn't say names. Okay, me, I will say, if I sleep with Lama because he's my husband, he leaves a mark on me. If I sleep with another person, they leave a mark on me. So imagine if you have 30 marks from different people, different behaviors, different everything.
Now, Dorcas, you cannot believe, at that very point, my father would say, all those marks are left behind by this person you've slept with, but that person is also leaving marks of the people they have slept with and the people they have slept with in the past. So you find you have so many, the network is so big. I want you to think of all the people you've slept with, in case you didn't.
And then imagine that person has slept with that same number. Oh my God.
And then think of the people they have slept with, and what, because this thing is spiritual, we should stop looking at sex as just a physical thing.
And let me ask this: what do you think? Because I talk to men and boys and guys a lot, and there is this new thing that is coming up that you cannot marry a girl you haven't tested. You have to know what you're taking home. What should we tell people out there that sex is not the thing to prove that the woman you're taking home is the one? That there are more other things to prove that that woman is the one. Why? What would you tell that person?
I would say that just because everybody is doing it, you don't have to do it. You can do what is godly, what is divine. People today think it is better to first test, but do you realize that on many occasions, some people will come and test and go away? So at the end of the day, you're forced to have testers who have come. Now, as a teacher, I usually illustrate this with a single chapati. I get a chapati. Maybe I get around 3 students who are selling chapati. You try it. And then I'm telling one, okay, for you, when people come and they ask for jaribu, you give. Everybody who asks for jaribu, you give. And then for you, you don't give. Even if someone begs to just test, you say no. And then for you, okay, you can give the 1 or 2. And at the end of the day, the person who allowed everybody to test their chapati will have a chapati with so many holes in it. So when you allow somebody to test before they take this final product, chances are high after testing there will always be an excuse. The salt is not enough. Oh, now you put too much salt. Haven't you tested chapatis that have butungulu, onions? Why didn't you put some carrot and onions? Because they have tested, there will always be that excuse. At the end of the day, you who made 2 people taste, you still have quite a number of holes in there. And then you who refuse to give people to taste, at the end of the day, when this buyer, the right buyer who is willing to take your chapati for any amount of money you tell them, is not going to consider these other 2 chapatis, but will take the chapati that is intact. And at the end of the day, you will be happy and you'll get exactly what you want. So if you allow your chapati to be tested by everybody, even you the men, if you allow every girl to go on taking your chapati, you're first of all building a lot of spots and marks on yourself and your spirit self. And at the same time, the final product that you have to bring out on the market will not be good. But if you know you're going to marry this person, and you honor this person, and you know this is the product that you want, then Why not go and have your relationship blessed by God or blessed by Allah and or your parents, and then you know that this is it. You go and have as much sex as you want, because the beauty about sex is once you're married, you can have all
You
the
will
sex
have
you
it.
want. You can have it on top of the ceiling. You can have it under
Now,
the
let
bed. You
me
can have
stop
it
you
on your
right
bed
there.
everywhere.
Now, this is what I want people watching us to know. We are not saying this because we got married. Okay, me, I didn't get married a virgin. I want people to know that we are sharing this because of what we have observed in our lives, the mistakes we have made, and we believe that there are people out there who can get married as virgins, who can get married when they haven't gotten so many spots on their lives, on their bodies, on their minds, because at every stage you're taking someone's spot and it's not worth it. I want to share this experience. My husband is in the house, so obugalo for him. So we started dating when we were at the university. Now, we started off, we were friends for about 8 months. 8 months, 9 months down the road, the guy is like, we can, happen. So before we knew it, we actually had a sexual relationship. Now, if my father watched this, which I know he will watch, he will say, "Bana, my daughter, I thought you were. So what happened was we actually went on to have sex. Then we had sex because we had the time. I mean, you finish lectures, we're in the same year, finish lectures, go to his place or he comes to my place, you have sex, you eat. So you find at that stage you actually have so much time. Now, it so happened we got married at a point when I had just taken on a new role at one of the big organizations in the country. I was busy. I would leave home at 5 a.m. I would go back late in the night, and then I was pregnant at that stage. Then I gave birth. Then down the road, I have 3 children to take care of. And of course, I have the pressures of work. So what happened was, at some point, I remember my husband asking me, what happened to our sex life? But what happened really? If you're sincere, I want you to type your comments down. What happens to a relationship where you're comparing the before, when we had all the time, and then here we are in marriage, you're thinking it should stay like when we were still, at campus, realistically, you have nothing to do apart from go to lectures, come, for most of us who were not working. So we had all the time to do whatever. So you watch a movie, you have sex. You go out, you come back, you have sex. So the sex is, it's your escape place. You don't even have to ask for it. It's there. But here in marriage, I go to work, I come back, and then my head, I need to be in the right mind. Oh, the kids are around. Where we used to have sex in the sitting room, now we can no longer have it in the sitting room. Why? Because the kids are awake, the kids are around. So now we have to actually plan and budget and say, now weekend, no, is for sex. I don't know if you people are getting me. So now it's for planning. Yet in the past, we would do a marathon of Monday to Sunday. So then if my husband, and man, I thank God for my husband, because if he wasn't a self-controlled man, I don't know how many other side chicks he would have. I do not know, because I was so busy at work. I was busy with children. My emotions were gone. And at the end of the day, it was really, really killing our marriage. But where was the problem coming from? We had eaten our honey before the honeymoon. So if you're out there, it has a price. You will pay the price when the man starts assuming you need to be a prostitute in your marriage, yet you're a wife, you have other things going on. And that's not, I want you to speak into this, Patricia. It's not like married women don't have the too much sex, but it cannot be the same as
when you're a teenager
when you're
and you're dating
at campus and you're doing it, because the time is there. But then you get in the marriage. Those are some of the women who will say, my husband can't satisfy me. You know why? Because you're used to sleeping with 10 men, and now here we are saying, for better for worse, sleep with one man.
It is very important if your partner understands that things will change, if children come in and then maybe job and all that, the job will create changes in the sex life of a marriage. And the reason why such problems come in, just like we're saying, it's because there is something to be compared with. The Dorcas of then and the Dorcas of now. But if the Dorcas of then had not happened, then there would be no comparison ground. And that is the same thing that happens with those who try and have sex elsewhere to prove. I have shared in my book, Perfect Imperfections, why it is very dangerous for us to keep trying sex with different people, because of the problem of comparison. And that highly affects the marriage. If the husband goes out because he has failed to understand that the wife has just given birth, and he fails to understand that when she is still fresh from labor, she cannot give you, the kind of sex that you want, and then he goes to try elsewhere, he will find something else and then come home and expect you're going to do it, and you don't know why he wants you to do a certain, something. At the end of the day, there's conflict and failure to understand. So we are emphasizing that it is okay if you wait and get married and then start this journey together. The two of you will experience adventure and discovery together. You'll have, no comparison ground, and then what you have together is something that you're both going to enjoy, and that alone will lead to conversations with your partner. You'll be able to talk to each other and understand, what you have discovered about each other, how you understand each other. Then she or your husband can share probably his turning points and then his turn-ons, and then you can also do the same. But if you adventure elsewhere, it will be very hard for you, because each of you will be worried. You'll say, how do I start this conversation? Maybe this person is going to ask, where did I discover that from? Why am I trying to, turn this way? We've always been turning the other way. But if you're doing it together, then you're able to understand each other, and then you grow together. We should desist from the testing before marriage, because when you test, you kill this thing.
So I think it is also important for people out there, for the ladies out there, for the gentlemen out there, to know that it doesn't matter where you are right now. It is as simple as making a decision. And this is from within. You don't have to make it for God. You don't have to make it for your parents. I keep telling young girls, most times they say, if I sleep with this guy, if I have sex before marriage, my mother will kill me. No, it shouldn't be for your mother, for your parents, for God. It should be for you, because then it keeps you pure. And it doesn't matter how many spots you have right now. Imagine, with time, if this spot, I don't know if the camera can capture this, but if I have a spot and I do not continue injuring it, it will not expand. So with time, as I grow, the spot will reduce. So the spots you have can actually reduce if you stop right now and start a new journey.
And you can. This is the real talk. Talk to your friend. Be real. Be honest. And you don't have to relive the past. There's always a new beginning. And as you pray to God as a couple, you pray for new beginnings, because all of us have our past. We have, but then when you choose to talk together and you're honest, I don't like it when somebody says they are scared of talking to their partners. If this is your husband, he's your best, he's your everything. Talk about anything, even that pimple that is in a very weird place. Talk about it with him. Not, Dorcas, don't call me. Talk to Lama,
I don't call you. I talk to him.
So we keep talking to each other, the real facts, and let's stop the pretense, because in marriage, there should be no pretense. Let's talk. And sex is a must talk about.
So now that we are talking about sex in marriage, I want us to dive in. For us who are married, now the ones who are not married, please just, hey. Now, this is for the married. You are in a marriage. How do you have the sex conversation? How do you keep it real in a marriage? I want you to start us off, then I will add on, then we will conclude today's episode.
How do you have the sex talk? The truth is, it's important to understand that what happens in the other home may not happen in my home.
Yeah.
The way the Lamas handle their marriage and their sex talk and everything may not necessarily be the way the Mlumbas do that.
Or even do, the way they do, not just talk, the way we do.
Even but
Yeah.
How do you the two of you have an understanding? You've created that friendship. You have ground. You know how you manage this. So you maybe when you go out as husband and wife, or when you're seated, the children maybe have gone to sleep and you're talking. You have your passwords. Somebody understands, or there's a language between the two of you. For example, there's a song that will play in the bedroom, and then Professor will know that today, and then I'll walk around, as I'm finishing this and giving him probably his cup of tea. He listens to the song. He knows.
We are getting that song.
Always have something. Have your nonverbal communication that triggers both of you. And we are living in an era that is very interesting. We have all these communication gadgets and everything. You can always, throw something, to your friend.
I know someone, when he wants something, he will start sending messages during the day.
So those messages during the day help to prepare the other person.
Yeah.
And then if our husbands could understand that we, the ladies, need that prayer preparation, then there is something you can do. And there are certain things that you say or do that communicate to this person. Secondly, when we go out, today I'm seeing couples seated, maybe they've gone for a drink somewhere, and each one is having a phone, and the conversation is not there. You cannot grow something if you don't talk to each other. So invest in that talk, invest in the signal. Probably it is a style that you use. You make a bed in a certain way, and when your husband comes home, he says, "Oh my goodness, this is amazing." Already for the men, the hormones will start running, and then he knows that today is when things are not okay, like you talked about the children, the children and what, once in a while, if you're both working, invest in a night out. If you can talk to maybe a sister or somebody to help with the children, and then you can go to this place, because
if you have relatives around, you can actually take them at a sister's
take
place.
the children, somewhere.
When you hear that code, fire is going down.
Because, Dorcas, it's not funny when you're up there and you're seeing, these pink elephants flying on, on the ceiling and everywhere, and then you hear somebody knock, "Mommy, I need something." It kills the whole thing. So when you prepare each other, knowing the setting of your home, understanding what works for you, then I'm sure the conversation can be interesting, and the sightseeing and magic will be wonderful.
So as we conclude this conversation, I want to say that having fun in marriage, having sex in marriage, doesn't mean you will not have issues in marriage. You can actually have fun. People who have met me with my husband, like people who are close to me and they know our issues, they wonder how we manage to be friends, yet we actually have issues, challenges. But let me tell you, that shouldn't stop us from having fun. So having fun in marriage will take intentionality. It will take time for you to invest in it. If you're a hardworking, and women, this business of I'm pursuing my career, let me tell you, your career will come to the end. They will fire you at the end of the month, and then you have to go back to your husband at home. So we need to invest time in the people we sleep with every day. If you call him your husband, invest in him. If you call her your wife, invest in her. Like I said last week, you have to be able to Invest in it. Have fun. Be intentional about it. Plan for the sex. Do not think it will just happen. No. Once you have 4 kids, once you have 3 children, she has 4 kids, she takes care of how many other people in her house. She has to be intentional and plan for the sex. Play the music so that the boss, even if it's during the day, by the way, kids are outside in the compound playing, you play the music and the man will know that on this Saturday, it's going down at 2 p.m. So plan for it. We must invest in this thing called marriage. We must invest. This business of, we think marriage is not fun. Yes, and I want to say that challenges doesn't make marriage a bad institution. It does not. It does not. I keep telling people I can't imagine a day like without my husband in the house. Every time he tells me I'm traveling up country, I'm like, oh God, no. Because we complement each other. We support one another in everything. So make sure you're intentional about creating that sex time. Plan for it. Men, the day you know you want some, please invest in your wives. Muteke muka rozi, mugulire yo ka lollipop, mugulire yo ka keki. Let's learn to enjoy the marriage. So,
And
as we conclude, what are your last words to our listeners,
the last thing I can say is Perfect Imperfections will definitely talk about the sex factor and help you understand. But most importantly, I like to read one of the verses that I quoted, 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 5, that calls for us as husband and wife, and that shows that sex is important in the home. Says, stop depriving one another except by agreement for a time. It, like she has given birth or she's not feeling well or something, and when you do, so that you may devote yourselves to prayer and come together again, so that Satan will not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. So as husbands, it is very, very important for us to understand our women. You can tell we are very easy to read. Yeah. And also the wives understand. Many times the men will bear me witness. Bobato ina sente monsao ne mudu egana. So go work, but make sure you light up the moment. Sex will make you glow. Sex will, actually, I prefer calling it love making. Good love making can show on your face. It can show on the way you handle those things. The backing at work because you're a boss and you're being denied sex at home will not be there. So go have fun with your wife and husband and make sure that you live a happy life centered on God. Put God first. When things are not going well, please remember it all begins with God, because He is the one that gave us the first stamp and said, go and enjoy it. Leave your parents' house. Go be fruitful. So enjoy it knowing that God has blessed. And there is nothing as beautiful as having holy sex on a holy bed. And you can only do that if you're married.
So let's go and have sex. This is The Real Talk with Dorcus Magoba. God bless you. Until next time when we talk about finances in marriage. God bless you. Bye.